Thanks for joining me. This is Danny and welcome back to my Real Tech series. Today we are going to be doing a variety of things. One of the main things I want to do today is to automate our steel production, which is going to involve moving our coke oven and our improved blast furnace up into our factory area, which is something that I had planned on doing ever since the beginning, ever since I placed these here. Long time ago I said, I'm just putting these here temporarily. By the end of this episode, we're going to be able to go over here to our cargo manager. We're going to drop in some iron and some coal, and the cart's going to come and pick it up. It's going to take it away, our little messenger cart or delivery cart, and a little while later it's going to come back and it's going to drop off steel right here. That's how this is going to work for us. I'm going to have it so that there's always a stack of coal. The coal that we send along is just going to replenish the coal that's going to be used. That'll speed up the process a little bit. It'll automatically load up the iron in here, and it'll pull the coal that it needs in order to make steel, and then the cart's going to pick up the steel and bring it back. We're going to have some way of managing. Well, it's also going to bring back slag, because this thing does produce slag, and we don't want that to be overflowing up there, so we don't want to have to go up there and check on our slag. So we're just going to have it bring it back home, and we'll manage this slag at home manually or whatever. Maybe we'll just void it or whatever, I don't know. And then we're also going to have to manage creosote oil, because we've got, in fact right now we're overflowing with creosote oil, which is why we're not producing steel at the moment, even though we have stuff queued up in here, because we're full of creosote oil. So we're going to make another immersive engineering tank to hold our creosote oil, which should keep us going for quite some time. And I may set up some kind of a void situation too, because that's going to be 512 buckets. That tank is going to hold 512 buckets of creosote oil. If we ever fill that tank up, I think it's pretty safe for us to void the rest. And then we're also going to set up some preheaters on our improved blast furnace so that it's faster. The other thing that I want to do is I want to change our tree farm up a little bit. Right now it's using vanilla oak trees, and that's kind of causing two problems for us. One, it's not producing enough apples. And we're also getting huge trees every once in a while, which is causing these stumps and these things to happen, because we've got a mod installed that automatically plants saplings that get dropped. Saplings are being dropped and then they're being planted all over the place. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to switch from vanilla oak to forestry oak, the forestry apple oak trees, which are going to produce a little bit more apples, a few more apples for us. Like the apple production is just a slight bit more, and it's also going to produce trees that are about the same size all the time. So we're not going to end up with these huge trees anymore. In fact, I'm going to break these saplings so that we don't get any huge trees while we're in this process. And right now we've got our tree farm shut off because we've got enough wood for now. But in order to do that, it's really quite a simple process. All we really have to do is take one sapling and put it in an analyzer from Forestry. If we take one vanilla oak sapling and put it in an analyzer, a portable analyzer, it'll turn into a forestry sapling and it'll analyze it. And then we can use that forestry sapling to get our tree farm started. Now the problem is that we need honey. Which we don't have because we haven't done anything with bees yet. So we're oh gosh, I'm hot. So we're kind of going to sort of get started with bees today, but not really. We're going to create a centrifuge. That's all we're going to do because we got some honeycombs already with some loot. All we need is one piece of honey. We're going to do the forestry stuff first just because it's fast. It's something that we should be able to get done really quickly. So here's a centrifuge from Forestry. This guy does require RF. Give that guy some power. The lights might go out. Oh crap, I better sleep. Or we're going to have mobs all over the place here. Okay. So I'm just going to put the honeycombs in there, and we should end up getting... we're going to lag a little because our lights are flashing on and off. Oh my gosh. But we should end up getting some honey. There we go. That's all we need. One honey drop. Hooray! So our low voltage wires that we're using to power everything down at our base, the connectors only transfer 256 RF per tick. However, the wire itself has a maximum of 2048. But we're only using one connector to connect everything. So all we really have to do... Oh, is there room there? If we want to increase the amount of throughput, It's just to add another one of those. Wait. That orange. And that is going there. Cool. And the relays are just relaying power, so they're not going to be a bottleneck. So we now just doubled the amount of power that we can send down to our base. Let's try this now. It seemed like we were just on the edge before. Yeah, that fixes the problem. Hooray! Oh, nice. Man, I don't know why I didn't do that a long time ago. Because every time I try to power something over here, our lights blink. Or if I want to charge something in our little charging station, our lights would blink and lag me out like crazy. So now we've got honey. Now we need to make our actual analyzer, which requires the carpenter. Oh, and some more tin. But that should be fine. A diamond, a couple of redstone, and some glass panes. There's our carpenter. The carpenter will combine some kind of fluid. In this case, just water. So it's an easy one. Where do we have easy access to water? I guess I gotta go down here. We actually need a couple buckets of water for this recipe. Oops. And boom. Okay. So 4 tin, 2 white stained glass, 2 redstone, and a diamond. So that's just the recipe setup. These don't actually exist there. They're just showing us what it's going to make. We put the ingredients in here and it will make them based on how much. So we could make a whole bunch of these in here if we wanted to. Of course we don't. We only want one portable analyzer. Is it not verdict? Oh, yes. And we need power. Now this might actually shut off our lights because it has to fill up the buffer in this machine. We'll see. No. Oh, nice. Cool. So it's making our portable analyzer. Hooray! And we got our 1 honey drop. Actually, we've got more in here. Hooray! There's our portable analyzer. Okay. I just threw it. So now all we have to do is take our portable analyzer and we give it some honey drops. I'm just going to give it 1 because that's all it needs right now. And we take a sapling, just a vanilla oak sapling, and we put it in here to analyze it. And now it's analyzed. It is now a forestry sapling. There, I cleared out all the trees. And saplings, and now we just have this one forestry sapling. This guy doesn't have any saplings now, so it's just going to keep going around until that tree grows, and then it's going to end up with some saplings from it that are forestry saplings, and then eventually this whole area will be covered in forestry saplings. Hooray! Sadly, it's time to break this this stuff. That's okay, we're going to put it back together very soon. We are going to end up losing the creosote oil that's in here, but that's okay. We've got more than enough already. Not a big deal. Now we get to head down into the dingy basement that you'll be seeing for the first time. This is it. This is the basement. This is where the stuff is coming in. So we've got this filter sending pumpkin and apple up top. And everything else is getting sent over to the crusher. So what we're going to do is we're going to have iron and coal sent down. This is the cargo manager going back home. So this is where we're going to send stuff. The cargo manager coming in is above this item router. This is really cramped. I don't like this. Nope, we're not going to do this. This is way too cramped. Yeah, that'll be better that way. And then we'll have the coke oven. Nope. No, actually that should be fine. As long as there's one block in between. And then the question is, do I want to set it? Yeah, let's set it up against the wall. Whoa, what am I doing here? Okay, so there's that. Okay, that's gonna go that way. Should we turn this? Let's see, how does that look? That looks good. But we can't get anything into it. Darn it. That sucks. Alright, I've just got it recessed in the floor. I guess that's gonna be okay. So we're gonna tell this guy that coal and iron are going to be dropped down to the bottom. So I've got one conveyor belt in the bottom here. That means if... Oh, crap. No. Okay. If we put a piece of charcoal or charcoal in here, it should end up dropping off that conveyor belt. Hooray! But if we put something else in here, it's not. It's going to end up in the grinder. Unless it's an apple or a pumpkin. And then we're also going to say the same thing about iron. Oh yes, we already did that. Okay. So we put iron, it drops down here. Hooray! So now I'm going to place conveyor belts running all the way over there. I'm going to end up having to turn these because, yeah. When you look at the bottom of a conveyor belt, it's going the opposite direction than the top. So the belt is basically wrapping around the entire conveyor belt. Like that's the concept anyway. So like when you look at this from the top, you can see it's moving items that way. But when you look at it from the bottom, it looks like they're moving this way. So with that knowledge, from the bottom, we're gonna want it to look like it's moving stuff in that direction, even though it's really not. And we're actually going to need another one of these item routers, because we're going to route the coal into probably... We can actually route coal directly into this thing with a conveyor belt. So like if we set a conveyor belt here and throw a piece of coal on it, it'll go into the machine. So that's what we want, except I think I might want an inventory in between, just in case we do like a whole bunch of them, or a whole bunch of them at once. So let's just do a hopper, and let's put it on the top, maybe like right there. Whoops, right there. So of course anything that goes into this hopper is going to end up going in there, and we can run the conveyor belt. And actually, and we're going to want to hopper up there as well, so let's do that right away. Okay, and then we may as well run these conveyor belts right up to a item, what's that called again? An item router right here. So let's pretend, let's pretend that that's an item router. So I moved it over one, but then off of the item router, we're going to have a conveyor belt going into that hopper. So the item router will input directly into this hopper on this side, and then it'll input onto the conveyor belt over here, which will go into that hopper. Hooray! Oh, look at that. Oh, it connected. Nice. So now, okay. Oh, I went back to the base. I forgot to make a item router. Darn it. I guess we'll put a hopper there, pointing at that conveyor belt. There we go. That should work. And then we're going to do the same thing over here, because we need this space, so I can't run the conveyor belt over here. I guess that means I'm going to need another hopper. I wonder how this will connect. What? Okay, so it's going that way and up. So that should work. Yeah, perfect. Because it's going, and then that should take it right into this hopper, which should bring it into that hopper duct, and that should, okay. So if we throw a piece of steel right there, there we go. Nice. Cool. Awesome. Now it's in there. Very cool. Right, here's the item router. I replaced the pretend item router with a real one. That is south. So we're going to say on the south side we want iron, except I didn't bring any with me. Darn it. And then down here, I'm going to have a hopper coming out of there. And I'm hoping that we can go right into the vertical conveyor belts from the hopper. And I'm going to put a hopper over here. Okay. So now when the slag comes out... Oh, come on. Too many conveyor belts. Urgh. That's going to happen, and it should go into that hopper, go onto that belt, go into that hopper, onto that belt. Ugh, I'm stuck now. Okay. And then go in there, and then go up, and then end up in here. Hooray! So that is the south side. So we're going to say we want iron to go south. We want coal to go north. And that's it. Nothing else is going to come into that because only coal and iron are being allowed over here. Coal and iron. I really like these vertical conveyor belts. Makes for a much cleaner build. So here's the moment of truth. I am going to put a hopper right there pointing to that conveyor belt and hope that this coal coke will come out, travel up here into this hopper and then over into our into our blast furnace. It's gonna be a little tricky turning it that way, but okay, so we've got the coal coke in there. There we go. Perfect. Nice. Awesome. So it actually would have ended up in this hopper because I've got some Railcraft coal coke in here at the moment. But it works. So everything except one thing is done. So we have, when our stuff comes in, it goes to the right place. When it comes out, when this stuff comes out, it goes in here. When this stuff comes out, it gets sent back home, which is what we want. The only thing we have left is the creosote oil. So let's see this in action. I'm going to put... we'll put 6 coal and 6 iron in here. And then the cart's going to come and take it. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for that to happen, I'm going to start making the materials that we need for our tank. So the tank is a multi-block structure, of course, that requires a lot of sheet metal, mostly. 4 treated wood fences and 34 iron sheet metal. So it's picking up the iron and the coal, and now it's actually going to head over to the mine and see if it has anything to pick up over there. Get down there fast enough, we'll see it come across on the conveyor belts. Yay! Okay, there we go. And we see the coal is getting dropped into here. Nice! And the iron got dropped into here, and it is now making steel. Very cool. However, what we're going to do is we're going to have that hopper full of coal coke at all times. When we send new coal over here, it's going to use the coal that it needs for the steel, and then it's going to replenish it. Oh, let's get our preheaters on here. That's right. So the blast furnace preheater requires the external heaters, which we made earlier to power our furnaces up there, our vanilla furnaces. Each furnace can have up to 2 preheaters connected to the ports on each side, and each preheater requires 32 flux per tick to operate. So we're talking 64 RF per tick altogether. Nice. Look at that. 5 steel, 5 slag. There's still 1 coming, but the last time the cart passed by, it must have just finished 5 of them. Very nice. So that is working. It's totally working. So we put that there. Oh, there we go. Okay. And then over here as well. There we go. I have our medium voltage coming down through here. I removed that block and then I put it back and now it looks like a grate on the floor. It's just glass. It's chiseled glass. So it looks like it's going through a grate in the floor. That's cool. Let's get our ladder. Man, my inventory is really full. Okay. Connection. Oh, no. Actually, we could just put another... Could put a relay there. The conveyor belt's going to be obstructing it. Oh, maybe not. Okay, I guess that can work. But are we going to have the same problem over there? Yeah, it's obstructed. Oh, that's strange. But whatever, that works. Alright, these guys are both powered. Now I'm kind of curious to see how much faster this thing's going to be, because as you know, the improved blast furnace is pretty slow. I mean, of course it's faster than the unimproved blast furnace, but let's just put 3 of these in here. Did it? I don't know if that was 3 or not, because the scroll thing isn't working right. Oh yeah, that's much faster. Oh, look at that. Nice. Alright, I'm going to just get this tank set up right away too. And that is just that. And then the rest of the sheet metal up here. And it is hollow. Yeah, just like that. Ah, crap. Oh, this one's hollow. There. Now we hit it with our hammer, and ta-da! So first we place the fluid pump on the side of the thing, and then we give it a redstone signal in order to tell it to pull. And then we just have the pipes run over here. We had to hit the wrench over here to make this thing output so that it's orange. We also have to hit the wrench so that it pulls from the coke oven. But of course we can't hit the wrench on that side because it's attached to the coke oven. But what we can do, you can see the first time we click it, it's blue, which means input. Second time it's orange, which means output. Third time it goes back to that. So if we hit shift and then click, it should turn the other side to blue. Yes. And then to take care of our other tanks, I'm just going to set that side to input. And I'm going to set our tanks down here. There we go. I had to break the pump, set the output on the top of one of these things, and then place the pump back. So it's now draining these tanks into our big tank upstairs. We have a complete build. Let's prove it. We're going to put a half a stack of iron and a half a stack of coal in here. Oh, we already had some up there. Let's see what it's bringing back for us. Nothing. And now bring it over there. Got our creosote tank over here, and it's about a quarter full already. But that's because we already had a ton of creosote oil. And I emptied it all into there. And this is it. This is the complete build. Everything is totally working now. So this is where everything comes in. We already saw this. We're filtering the coal and the iron and bringing them over here. I've already got 4 stacks of coal going on, So that's just going to be kind of our reserve. So there's always going to be 4 stacks of coal coke or coal ready. Here comes the iron. Nice. And as you can see, there's no creosote oil in here. It's all being pulled out immediately. Oh, the coal is getting dumped. Well, right now it's just being dumped into this hopper. So it's already made one, and there it goes. Hooray! And now the next time the cart comes through, it's going to pick this stuff up and bring it home. And actually, let's just take a quick look back here of what the final result ended up being. Our pipe, this thing is set to output orange on that side, and then our pipe runs over here, and then it goes up to the bottom of the tank. So you can insert into the bottom of the tank. You can insert or pull out from the bottom of the tank, of the fluid tanks. You can also insert into the top of the fluid tanks, but you cannot pull out of the top. So how are we doing? We're down to 29. Nice. So this is this is pretty fast. So what's going to happen is once this thing finally catches up, once we get all this coal turned into coal coke, we'll have it on reserve. So anytime we want to make up to 4 stacks of steel, we'll be able to do so pretty quickly. If we ever want to make more than 4 stacks of steel, it's going to take a little bit longer. Then that's kind of the point where things are going to take a little longer. But we can always increase this reserve if we want to. But I don't think we need more. I don't think we would ever really need to do more than 4 stacks at a time. So I think this will be just fine. So one of the reasons I'm doing all this is because in the next episode we are going to be playing with Railcraft. And we're going to start making kind of a cart network. Not necessarily for like functional purposes, it's more going to be for fun, because everything that we could possibly want to do functionally with rails, we're doing with Steve's carts. And Steve's carts is doing a really good job of handling our farms and all that kind of stuff, and of course our delivery of items and things like that. This is actually going to be a transportation network, a somewhat high-speed transportation network that's going to take us to some of the various places around. Now, of course, we have some good ways of transporting now that we have our flight with the Vicecraft airships, but we don't really have a good way of moving a lot of items. And so we're going to use Railcraft to make like little locomotives that have lots of cars on them that can move huge numbers of items back and forth between this and what will at some point be our summer base. Or our summer base, because this place is pretty hot in the summer. We got our first 4 steel. Hooray! So every time that cart comes back, it's going to be bringing a bunch of steel for us, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to grab all this stuff and throw it in. I should really automate this part. This is the only part of the process that isn't automated, is dumping the stuff into our drawers. The cart's here. What do we got? 6 more. 6 more steel. So it looks like it's going to be about 6 steel for every cartload. Oh, this time it only got 5. But, well, I do hope you enjoyed this. Of course, if you do have any questions or comments about what we did today, or anything else for that matter, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And of course, if you did enjoy this, don't forget to click the like button and to join me next time when we start playing with Railcraft. Bye! Thanks for watching.